Good morning, evening, or afternoon. I'm not sure when you're watching this, but you are tuned in to the Playwrights Spotlight Virtual Magazine. I am your hostess, Miss Beverly Banks, True Love Productions, and I have an amazing talent on with me today. His name is Dave Pietro. He has directed one act and full-length plays, musicals, and original productions for the Rockdale High School, the Georgia Perimeter College, University of Georgia, the Conyers Rockdale Council for the Arts, the Conyers Creative Kids, and the New Depot Players. Some of Dave's directorial gigs have been Bye Bye Birdie, Sing Stars in Dixie, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Heaven in Chains, and Ken Lugwood's Lend Me a Tenor. Things that he's currently working on is a production called Behind the Dark Gray Wall for the Conyers Rockdale City Council for the Arts Theater, and The Boy Who Brought His Mind to Life for the Conyers Creative Kids. This winter, he will be directing Ken Ludwig's The Games Afoot for the New Depot Players. In addition, Dave is a set designer. He has some amazing sets that he's designed. I've seen his some of his designs in his portfolio, and he's actually won an award for one of them when he designed the set for the Cemetery Club. He won the award in 2003, 23, 24, the Wise Award for Best Scenic Design. Laughing Stock, the Savannah Sipping Society, Lend Me a Tenor, The Odd Couple, and most recently, The Mousetrap. These are some of the sets that he has designed. So I said a whole lot, but on with me live right now is Mr. Dave. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I am so good. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come and sit with little old me for my Playwright Spotlight magazine.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Tell us something about yourself.
Well, let's see. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I got my start, I guess, in high school. It was freshman year in high school. That would have been 1968, 69. And I went to see a play that we put on in the high school, South Pacific, the musical. Fell in love with what I saw. I went, holy crap, this is amazing. Next year, I've got to be involved with this. So next year, I tried out for Oliver, the musical, and got in the chorus, and that was fun. But what really pushed my buttons was watching what was going on behind the scenes. The directing, the lighting, the sound, the costumes, and all that. So the following 2 years, I became assistant director to the director of the plays and learned all of that. I took that into filmmaking, which was at the time a Super 8 camera, and I was doing amateur films. And after high school, met a group of guys, and we created Cinema Group 4, which was a really cool group that we started actually producing amateur film. We went from Super 8 film up to 16 millimeter, which was more what college was using, then to 35 millimeter, which is shown in theaters. And we actually did a couple of real films. Subsequently, that was not my full-time job because, again, we were still kind of young. But eventually I got a job with Paramount Pictures, which I flew back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast, and I was with them for a great number of years. And we're on the sets of Star Trek and Mission Impossible and Eddie Murphy movies like The Golden Child and things like that. And that was wonderful. And eventually made my way down here to Georgia. And as you know,
we had a little lag, but it'll catch up.
And doing a number of projects in the film industry. Well, unfortunately, as you may or may not know, because of COVID, because of the strikes and everything, the film industry has gone kind of south for a while here, no pun intended. So to pick up the slack, I started doing theater once again, which is my other love. And I was very fortunate to work with all those places that you had mentioned, UGA and the Rockdale high schools and all of that, doing a numerous amount of productions. And I've stayed with it ever since. So now I'm blessed to have a couple of these really big productions coming up that you had mentioned.
Oh yes, and I want to dig into some of them because um, they're just fascinating. So the first one I want to dig into is the one that's coming up soon, Behind the Dark Gray Wall, and that's going to be in Conyers. Can you tell us about that? What is it about? Tell us.
I have a very good friend of mine. He is incarcerated. He's been incarcerated for a number of years, and he's turned his life around in prison through the arts. And that's a whole new thing that's happening now, where they can reform people through the arts. He is writing, he is directing, he is acting, all within the prison systems. He has won national awards for his poetry, for his short stories, for his short plays. And he started sending me a number of these pieces. And I looked at them and I thought, well, what's the possibilities of taking some of these poems and some of these short vignettes that he's written and turn them into like a one-act play? A one-act play meaning a 45-minute to a 1-hour play. Well, with his blessing, I was able to do that. And together we worked together on this, and we created Behind the Dark Gray Wall. It's a story of prison life, what goes on behind that dark gray wall, and how people find solace through faith, through hope, through the arts, through everything, through education. Many of them have gotten their college degrees now while they've been incarcerated. So it's really, it's a touching and beautiful piece. And I've been blessed to have an enormously diverse number of 9 actors that have come on board for this that are just fantastic. They love the project, they love the characters, and we are so excited to be able to bring this to people. Again, through the Conyers Rockdale Council of the Arts.
Yes, and we were talking earlier, and I was saying one of the things that I love about the project so far is that it's talking about something that everyone can relate to in some respect or another, and it's real life. These are things that really happen. So I'm excited to find out how to go see the project. It's coming up soon. This interview is going to air before the play. So give us some details on how people can come and see this project.
Well, as I say, the name of the play is Behind the Dark Gray Wall. It's written by Larry N. Stromberg. You can actually look him up on the internet. He's got a number of things out there. Like I said, he's got more connections behind bars than I do when I'm not behind bars, right? It's going to be performed at the Conyers Rockdale Council for the Arts Theater, which is located in Conyers, Georgia. Tons of free parking all throughout the town and behind the theater as well. Tickets are available through conyersarts.org, or you can go directly to tickets.conyersarts.org. There'll be 4 performances, August 21, 22, 23, and 24. The first 2 evening performances are Thursday and Friday, and then the second 2 performances are matinees at 3 p.m., which will be a Saturday and a Sunday, which is usually the most popular shows because people, it clears up their schedule for the rest of the day, or they go out for a nice dinner afterwards. It's a beautiful venue that it's going to be at, and as I say, the show will be about an hour in length. We'll take a short, quick break, which you can buy more concessions, or you can go to the lady and men's room. And then we're going to do a short Q&A afterwards, which it's amazing the questions that people in the audience come up with for the actors, for myself. And then again, we are having people fly in from around the country who are part of nonprofit organizations that work with the incarcerated individuals through the arts and the rehabilitation that they go through the arts. So it's really an interesting thing. So for that hour and a half of your time, you'll walk away really, really influenced by what's going on in the world that you'll never know of in any other way.
Right. And then you get an inside view of what happens behind the prison walls. So you'll have a more understanding, just information, you know. So you don't have to worry about, I didn't catch where to get that or where the tickets. I'm going to have it. I'm going to include it in the interview. You're going to see this interview on the Playwright Spotlight virtual magazine on Facebook, so that information, ticket information, will be included, and also on the Phoenix Entertainment Network. The This interview is going to be playing there also. So don't worry if you didn't catch where to get tickets, but it is coming up the end of this month, August. It's coming up the end of this month. There's another project that you're working on also that I'm really interested in getting some deeper information about. The boy who brought his mind to life. Tell us about that.
This is a truly, truly beautiful story. It's written by a young African American author by the name of Ernest Lewis. He's actually in college right now, becoming a doctor. He's going to become a pediatrician. He's written a whole series of children's and young adult novels, which have, again, garnered a number of awards for him and notoriety all throughout the United States. Again, you can look him up on the internet, Ernest Lewis. And reading one of his stories, I told him that it would make an absolutely wonderful play for children and for a children's theater company. Well, we are so blessed to have a wonderful theater company here in Conyers called Conyers Creative Kids. And they put on musicals and plays and musical reviews and everything. They're headed up by two lovely individuals, Miss Jenny Caruso and Teresa Ham Smith. And these two women just really work with these children and have just taken to the next level of theater. The Boy Who Brought His Mind to Life is a touching, touching story of a young boy who unfortunately is hospitalized and he has an incurable disease. His mother had passed away a number of years ago, and it's just him and his dad. Well, his father, to try to make his life pleasant and wonderful in these last few months that he has, brings in an old storybook that his mother used to read him stories when he was very young. And they start reading through these stories, and through the play, the boy leaves the hospital bed, walks over to the other side of the stage, which becomes a magical forest, it becomes a city park, it becomes a fun schoolroom, just chock full of these amazing, amazing, fun characters. It is a touching, touching story. So much so that we're working with the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, who do so much for sick children in our community. So we're working with them. We're raising money for them through these shows. We're asking for donations when you come to the show, which is wonderful. We're even having a red carpet event. These shows will be the first 2 weekends of October. The first Saturday in October will be the red carpet event. It's a little bit more money, but there'll be food and appetizers and just entertainment. And then you'll get to see the play. And again, so much of this goes to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which is such a worthy, worthy cause. And Ernest is so excited about this, to be able to give back. Both of these plays that I mentioned do give back to the community. Behind a Dark Gray Wall is giving back to the community because the Conyers Rockdale Council of the Arts Theater has a series called Inspiration Theater, of which this is a part. These particular plays give back to the community by letting them know what goes on in the world and how they can become a part of helping individuals. And then The Boy Who Brought His Mind to Life the same way, by helping sick children who really need our help. So both of these shows are really something. And for me, I think that's what acting and theater is all about, and that is giving back to the community.
Yeah, and I love that. And I want to segue for a whole, just a moment. You never knew when you went to your first production, when you joined your first production as a freshman. Were you a junior, a freshman in high school?
Sophomore, sophomore.
A sophomore in high school. You didn't know, who knew that years and years later you'd be doing all of these amazing things and working for Paramount and doing all of these impactful. I love it because I love things that impact people, and there's nothing like theater because you're live, you're interacting, you know what I'm saying? You see the actors, you see the set, and the things that I love, but what you said before, there's so much more that goes into it than the acting. And you were at part of the chorus, but as you're singing, you're looking like, wait a minute, what about the lights? What about the set? What about? And so those are the things that, as a playwright, all of these things come to play to bring the project to life. So I want to segue into you as a director. So give me just a quick little story of how viable a director is to the project.
Well, the written work, it all starts with the written work, which is the script. And as a director, I try to follow that script as closely as possible. However, when you work with actors, it's amazing that what each person will bring to that particular character, things that sometimes not even the author or director realizes that direction can go in until that actor starts bringing something out of themselves. And it is truly, truly exciting. I know that you write as well, and part of that excitement is hearing your words performed, seeing your characters come alive. All these things just mean so much to a writer and a director. And I'm telling you, this cast for Behind the Dark Gray Wall has brought so much to this. I know for one of the actresses that you have worked with in the past, Rita Parker, she just comes alive with these characters. She performs two different characters in this play. And to direct someone like this, who not only takes your direction, but then takes it to that next level, it's just so wonderful to watch this come to life, as I say. So directing is so much fun because, again, you're taking this written word, and this is a premiere performance of this particular play, to be the first person to mold it into something really special. So directing, it's a true love of mine.
It is. Yes, I love it. I love it. You just, I don't know, you can't say enough about it. As a writer, you've written, I know you've taken other people's words and created a project for them. Have you written anything of your own and developed it?
Primarily a lot of short films. One is called The Soul Eater. One is called Midnight Run. And then I have a whole series of action, adventure, and horror films that are actually ready to go. One of which is called Cryptorium, which is sort of an anthology of horror. But we're already talking to a few Hollywood people. One of which is Jasmine Guy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jasmine Guy. She was on The Cosby Show. She had her own series called A Different World. And she has been on productions such as The Originals, The Vampire Diaries, Mario Van Peebles' show, Superstition. So it's really exciting to be working with people like this. And we're looking for funding right now for these particular projects. But in the meantime, theater is just keeping me fresh and, kind
Yes.
of visible again that way. But yes, our dream is to get some of these movie projects up and running again once the film industry gets back on its feet again. It really took quite a hit with COVID, and then with these 2 or 3 strikes right in a row. But it's slowly coming back, and we really have some hopes that we can get back into that as well.
Yes, yeah, and with the writer's strike, that just opened the door for writers. It's like, okay, you guys sit over there. We got it over here. But you said something that's really key. You said a actor that takes direction. You were saying you mentioning one of the actors that I know that you're working with, and she takes direction. So give me your best actor tip, or a great actor tip.
Well, part of it's a story and part of it's a tip. And I'll start with the tip.
Okay.
The tip comes from a very famous director, Woody Allen. And he has said that 80% of acting success is strictly showing up. And let me tell you the story. Behind a dark gray wall, I had put this up on Actors Access. I put this up on 800 Casting. I put this up on Facebook, different Facebook audition sites. I put this everywhere. I had 147 actors apply for this play, out of which I narrowed it down to 42 really good actors that I personally sent invitations to, email invitations to these auditions, these 2-night auditions. Out of those 40 some actors, only 22 responded. And out of those 22, only 13 showed up, from 147 down to 13. That tells me you don't want to be an actor. You
At
want
all.
to be a celebrity. You
Right.
want to be a movie star.
Right.
An actor takes a job no matter what the pay, no matter what the part. I'm telling you, I have a writing partner still based in Philadelphia. He's my age. He was cast, believe it or not, in a production of South Pacific when he was right out of high school into college. He was in the chorus. He was in the background. But the director looked at him and said, there's something about you. Your story is much the same way. There was something about you on the stage that somebody saw. So he gave him one line in this play. His name's Norman Machera. He's a writing partner of mine. He's written plays and stories with me. They gave him one line. Every night he said this one line and got the biggest laugh from the audience that you could possibly get. When he came out for curtain call, he got the standing ovation. He got the claps. So it goes to show you, excuse me, as an actor, don't worry about the size of the part. It's what you can do with it. And it's amazing to watch these actors in this one-act play behind a dark gray wall. Some are just simply a poem, and some are just a short vignette. But what you can do with these parts, how you can command the stage, how you can just make that audience look at you and just fall in love with you by your simple acting in the written word, it's amazing. So first of all, show up, because even an audition is work. You get a chance to perform in front of people who really want you to be good. We're inviting you to an audition to be the best you can be. We're praying and hoping that you are that person. And if you don't show up, we'll never know how good or how bad you ever were. And it's really sad. But these people who did show up, these 13, 15 people that showed up to audition for these 9 roles, were awesome. They were killer. And I'm hoping that these other 100-some people that tried out for this will have an opportunity to see them and say, darn, I wish I had tried
Right there.
Right. So that's my biggest acting tip. Show up. Because I would love my auditions, I have them do a piece. They'll do a monologue. Then they'll do a cold read. but I don't let them go after that. I let them rehearse that little cold piece and come back, and I try directing them and see how they take direction, see what they
Okay.
can bring to it. And I'll say, hey, try it like this. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden you just say, wow, this person needs to be in this cast. So
Mhm.
that's my best advice. Audition, 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 audition. And then if you audition, commit. Because again, some of the people audition like, well, no, I took another job because this one paid money. But was it as good as this part? Was it as
Right.
good as this role could have been for you? You'll
Mm.
never know, will you?
You'll never know now.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. This has been an amazing interview. I appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to interview with us. And actors, if you're not acting, you're not working. So you always find something to do to keep that creative muscle working. Keep it working. Go do projects, do things, go to auditions. Even if you don't get the part, go. You always have to be about the business. If this is what you want to do, you got to be about it. So, Dave, thank you so much. Tell us how we can contact you on social media if there's something that if somebody was interested in, further information. Can you give us a contact information?
My website is realcoolentertainment.com, and real is REEL, just like the movie Reel. You can check out my site there. My email address is Dave, pretty simple, at realcoolentertainment.com.
Yes.
Again, if you're interested in seeing either one of these plays, you can go to um, conyersarts.org or tickets.conyersarts.org for Behind the Dark Gray Wall, which is coming up in a few weeks. Or you can go to conyerscreativekids.com and see their website, and ticket information will be there. You can also check them out on Facebook, Instagram. I'm up on Facebook and Instagram under my name, under Real Cool Entertainment. It's real easy to find me as well. So definitely reach out. I will be running auditions for a number of projects. This other project for the New Depot Players is a truly exciting play. They have hundreds and hundreds of people attend their performances. And that's Ken Ludwig's The Games Afoot, which is a Sherlock Holmes comedy mystery adventure. And let me tell you, it takes place in like the 1920s, so it's a period piece, diverse cast of characters, crazy characters. So again, I will be looking for some wonderful, wonderful actors for that as well. You can follow them at the New Depot Players.com or the New Depot Players on Facebook and Instagram as well. So please do reach out. I mean, I love working with actors, meeting new actors, having new talent come my way. And again, if these movies come about also, you're looking at, for those, getting paid, getting an IMDb credit, getting into an actual production of a motion picture that will be on streaming, that'll be, out and about, and working with some Hollywood talent as well. So please, like I say, if you're here in Georgia or in the vicinity of Georgia, reach out. We'd love to meet you. And I can't thank you enough for having me on. This has been really so much fun.
Yes, it has been fun for me too, guys. Thank you so much, Dave, again for taking time out of your schedule. This is the Playwright Spotlight Virtual Magazine. Again, it is going to be, this interview is going to be uploaded on the page. You can find the page Playwright Spotlight Magazine, Virtual Magazine. Also, you'll see this interview on the Phoenix Entertainment Network. We run on 16 networks, not 16, six channels right now. So it's been my pleasure to interview with you. And again, thank you for your time. And guys, listen, if you want work to do, check him out. Okay, so that's our time today, and I appreciate again so much.
Thank you.